appreciated. So I'm going to say a few words. I've only got 30 years worth of material, so I cannot hope you're all feeling good. But I promise to keep it brief. And then I'm going to hand over to Annette from JA, who's got an interesting and exciting announcement to make, and then to Lieutenant Governor, who kindly agreed to come and say a few words. So, PDMS started here on the Isle of Man 30 years ago, and it wasn't part of a well-thought-out business plan based on sound financial objectives. But it was because my wife, Jan, got a research job working in a marine laboratory in Portera, which was enough to pay the mortgage. And her boss, a guy called Professor Hawkins, who some of you will know still, played hockey with a guy called John Allen, who was an accountant and actually knew something about running a business. So, on the 23rd of February 1993, we set up PDMS Limited with a mission to do data and software projects better. And I've got a copy of the very first brochure we ever did, which I always carry around with me to go to bed, because it's so clever. But actually, if anybody wants a really good laugh, just come and see the lecture and you'll see some very, very funny, slightly distorted photographs of the worst logo ever. So, in the intervening years, there have been 8 UK Prime Ministers, 7 Chief Ministers of the Isle of Man, or 9 if you count repeats. We've doubled in size about 5.5 times, taking us from the original 2 to 92 people today. We have 2 offices. We've acquired 2 other companies and developed and sold 2 others. We've worked with more than 300 customers in about 15 jurisdictions in many different sectors. And although our customers and the solutions we've provided for them are incredibly diverse, our core purposes remain completely consistent. We aim to ensure that our customers are able to make the best use of information technology and data to achieve their organisational goals. We aim to provide the information which helps people succeed. And I really put the emphasis there on information and data. Data is a raw material, information is what people need. And that applies to whether it's legal certainty or what you require or good information to make business decisions. It's all about information based on data. In that time, we've employed at least 250 individual people here on the Isle of Man. Many of whom are still with us, and many of us have gone on to do great things in other organisations, or in starting their own and building their own successful businesses. We realised a long time ago that software development, like any growing sector of the economy, and that's the important point actually, it's a skills-based sector which is growing, has been throughout the time I've been involved in it, will inevitably suffer skills shortages. And with this in mind, we've been both an active promoter of careers in technology and a training organisation which is always looking to find and foster new talent in the industry. In fact, right now, 1 in 6 of our technical team started as apprentices, which I think is a very statistic. This is also why we've had such a long association with Junior Achievement. We're simply the best and most consistent bridge between the worlds of work and education. Enjoy the association with them greatly over the years. And actually, I was talking to, on the point about people working with us going on to better and greater things. I was talking to Kurt Rose was back there somewhere earlier on, and he was musing on the fact that he's worked for many organisations in his career, but the only one that's still here is PDMS. So we're a survivor, or we survived Kurt, perhaps I should. And regarding our home here in the Isle of Man, I'm incredibly grateful to Jan in the first instance for bringing me here, but to you all for being part of such a great community. Nothing's perfect, of course, but we should never take for granted the value of stable government and institutions, and the value of collaboration between politics, civil servants, business and the third sector, all of whom are represented here today. I would particularly like to thank our friends at the Steam Packet, who, apart from being a great customer, we all rely on so much, especially when it's really installing your own planes are flying, or choose not to fly. Also, the DTIs I first knew, I've got at least one person here from those days, or DED as they became, or DFE as they are now, and the business agencies who have always worked to ensure that there's open communication between business and government. And I think I can't understate our can't overstate how important that relationship is and how important it is for government to have an open mind to business, because it makes such a difference to so many aspects of the success of our managers in the economy. I'd also like to thank Manx Utilities, Manx Telecom, Domicilium, the Chamber of Commerce, and the many, many charities that we've supported over the years and may benefit from ourselves at any given time. The list could take all night, and I think it's, and if I've left you out, it's not because you're not important, it's just because it's a community and there are so many moving parts. But so much depends on the trust between different parts of society. We still do this better than most here in Ireland. I'm often asked how we as an organisation cope with the rapid pace of change in technology. And technology does indeed move quickly in some respects, which is part of its appeal, which is why it's fun to work in. But whilst the consumer electronics industry, for example, does have some frustratingly short product life cycles, the data and business processes we work with in partnership with our clients are actually very consistent. And our role is to build, design, maintain and operate systems which reliably deliver services for the long term. The devices and interfaces people use to consume the services may change at quite a pace, but the underlying systems and the data that actually resides within the service by them does not. And our job is to ensure that these systems stay evergreen by focusing on good design and continuous improvement. This is reflected in the fact that at least 45% of our customers have been with us for more than 10 years. I'd also particularly like to highlight the importance of our relationship with the Army. We have a strong track record in building systems for the public sector. We have clients, public sector clients that is, in the UK, Channel Islands, Caribbean, North America and the Pacific. However, much of this business has its own origins in projects undertaken first here in the Isle of Man. And because our software engineering teams and infrastructure are primarily based here, we're particularly proud of the virtuous circle that happens when our track record here on the island supports the export of services to other jurisdictions. People often talk about the economic multiplier effect of buying local. It's a thing, and obviously it's something we hear a lot. But, and it's true, but this is turbocharged in my view by the effect of innovating locally and exporting globally. When this works well, the fiscal benefits can far exceed the cost of acquiring the original system. And different professions have different age profiles. When I started in the software industry, there were no old software engineers. And not really very many old software companies. And about 15 years ago, I did a course with the IOD, and their opening gambit was to tell me and my eager fellow students that we were all going to die. I think they said we were all mortal, but it meant the same thing, and we knew that. But they said our companies could, or at least could be immortal. And looking at PDMS today, I see a company which feels young, diverse, and vibrant, unlike some of the people who might sell it. 1/3 of the team are under 35, and across the organisation, 40% of people and 50% of the executive team are female, both industry-leading statistics. And in terms of experience and continuity, we have, and this is an amazing statistic, but we have 1,038 years, a full-on millennium of continuity, of continuous service. So we're a millennium man years old, 1,000 man years old, in some sense. We have an average across the business of 11.3 years service, and 25 people have joined the business since the start of 2022. A long time ago, a relative, and I haven't even finished it by the way, that's quite a clip, but a long time ago, a relative who was a very talented engineer and responsible for building much of the BBC's broadcast infrastructure asked me how I managed to make sure I knew enough about all aspects of what we do to always know best. My answer was that I took exactly the opposite approach and always aimed to work with people who are far better at what they did than I could ever hope to be. I'm glad to say that in this regard at least, PDMS has been an unqualified success. And I can't thank the team enough for their incredible skills. So, a little round of applause for the team.
Can you hear me all right? Ladies and gentlemen, fantastic to be here. I'm only speaking for 45 minutes. 30 years, how fantastic. I think it's a Pearl anniversary, am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Pearl anniversary. So in your, I'm sure in your little going away gift, there'll be a nice little pearl. If not, if you don't get the pearl, take a bicycle. I know that. Very happy to just allow PDMS will sign the check. What a great story! What a fantastic success story. You know, a couple of blokes down. I don't know whether it was some kind of porter cabin down Port St Mary 30 years ago, and now up here, up in Douglas, with 92, 93, heading towards 100 employees, which is pretty magnificent. I went and visited PDMS a few months ago, and there were 5 things that really struck me, and I wrote them down. This is the notes I had from them. First of all, it was brilliant how they invest in their people. It's really fantastic, really impressive how they look after their team, and it is a young team, and that has a real sort of great vibe. Secondly, the sort of strong, diverse client relationships, and really taking those to heart and looking after the clients and working closely with the clients. But the thing that struck me, which is the third one, was working with the community, and that strong relationship with the community, particularly giving staff time to go off and work with the charities and all of the other things to do around the island, which is pretty phenomenal. Fourth thing I wrote down was junior achievement. And gosh, what you just announced today was brilliant. And I'm looking forward to my card. I'm actually signed up. I've signed up. Unfortunately, my coming out party was going to be at a school that then said, we're not doing it. Whether it was anything to do with me, I don't know. But I'm available. I'm waiting to catch the selector's eyes on junior achievement. But that was the fourth point that struck me. And the fifth point was all about protecting the environment and looking to the future and sustainability, which I think was really credible and important as well. So that's my 45 minutes up. I just want you all to join with me and raise your glass, if you still got it, and say well done to PDMS on 30 years, and let's look forward to the next 30 years. PDMS. PDMS.